invisible, as it were, and give you the benefit of the information I possess, and of my experience and advice, and you could then successfully manipulate the wires which would bring in the ducats for both of us. What do you say, my young friend?" "Do you think that either Ralph Mainwaring or Mr. Thornton would care enough for any secrets you might be able to disclose to pay you hush money?" "I object to the term of hush money. I am merely trying to get what was due me from Hugh Mainwaring. As he never paid me in full, his heirs must. Yes, I could work them after they return to England and set up in style on the old Mainwaring estate. They would be rather sensitive about the family reputation then." "Where are the beneficiaries of that will that was destroyed?" Scott suddenly inquired. Hobson looked sharply at him. "Dead long ago. Why do you ask?" "I was thinking that if they or their heirs were living, it would be better to go to them with this information. They would probably pay a good price for it." "You're right, they would," Hobson replied approvingly, "but they are all dead." "Were there no heirs left?" "None whatever, more's the pity. However, I've got a good hold on these English chaps, and will make them hand over the sovereigns yet." The contempt which Scott had hitherto concealed as Hobson unfolded his plans was now plainly visible on his face as he rose from his chair. "Don't hasten, my young friend," said Hobson eagerly. Sit down, we have not laid our plans yet." "No, nor will we," was the reply. "If you think to make a cat's paw of me in any of your dirty, contemptible pieces of work, you are mistaken. If you think that I came here with any intention of listening for one moment to any of your vile propositions, you are mistaken. I came here simply to satisfy myself on one point. My errand is accomplished, and I will remain no longer." Hobson had sprung to his feet, and now faced Scott, barring the way to the door, while fear, anger, defiance, and hate passed in rapid succession across his evil countenance, making his appearance more demon-like than ever. "You lie!" he exclaimed in a hoarse whisper. "I have not given you one word of information." "No," Scott interrupted, "you have given me no information, and you could give me none, for the reason that I know more concerning this whole affair than you do. I also have knowledge of certain other matters regarding one Richard Hobson, alias Dick Carroll, and his London adventures." Hobson's face had become a livid hue, and Scott detected a sudden movement of his right hand towards his desk. "None of that," he cried, warningly, at the same time springing quickly upon him with two well-aimed blows, one of which knocked a revolver from Hobson's hand, while the other deposited him in a heap upon the floor. While the latter was recovering from the effect of the stunning blow he had received, Scott picked up the revolver, and having examined it, slipped it into his pocket, saying, "I will keep this for a while as a souvenir of our interview. It may be needed as evidence later." Hobson crawled to his feet and stood cowering abjectly before Scott, rage written on every lineament of his face, but not daring to give it expression. "Who in the devil are you, anyway?" he growled. "That is none of your business whatever," Scott replied, seizing him by the collar and dragging him to the door. "The only thing for you to do is to unlock that door as expeditiously as possible, asking no questions and making no comments." With trembling fingers the wretch complied, and Scott, still retaining his hold upon his collar, reached the door of the outer room, where, with a final shake, he released him. "Wait a minute," Hobson whispered eagerly, half paralyzed with fear, while his eyes gleamed with malign hatred. "You've got no hold on me by anything I've said, and you've no proof of that Carroll business either." Scott looked at him an instant with silent contempt. "You cowardly scoundrel! All I have to say to you at present is, be careful how you interfere with me. I'm only sorry I soiled my hands with you, but I'll do it again if necessary, and the next time you will fare worse." And opening the door, he passed quickly through the outer room, conscious of the amazed stare of the office boy, who had overheard his last words. Hobson did not attempt to follow him, but paced up and down his room, trembling with fear and rage combined, and vainly striving to imagine who his visitor might be. At last he sat down to his desk and began to write rapidly, muttering to himself. "I half believe, only that he's too young, that he is some hound over here, trying to scent out the whole thing. But," he added with an oath, "whoever he is, if he crosses my track, he'll be likely to follow Hugh Mainwaring before long, that's all." End of Chapter 11.